I'm just setting up the live stream. I won't be long. Setting up a second monitor so I can see conversations going on in relation to the live stream, so I can take part in them. That's the main aim of the game. Okay, so I have the live stream up and running. Today we are at Reichenbach Airfield in the Swiss Alps, and we're going to go for a fly around the Swiss Alps in the Rans 6S. So I have downloaded the Rans 6S from AnyBuilds, and I've downloaded several of the airfields we are visiting from Orbex. So links for all of them are in the notes of the video. We'll also be using SayIntentions more as a tour guide today, because these are all going to be uncontrolled airfields. So it should be good fun just to fly along and see how we get on. We may have a play with doing flight following along the way because it's quite treacherous routes. So it might be quite nice to have flight following from ATC as we pass through the Alps. Let's go and check the volume levels before we get going. So let's turn the simulator volume up. Okay, so I'm going to start out by going to the external camera. So I'm just going to slow it down a little bit in a moment. So here's our aeroplane for the day, the Rans 6S from AnyBuilds. It's available from lots of places online. AnyBuilds is one of the great online stores that you can get things from. It's made by Flyboy Sims or Flyboy Simulations. It's a fantastic aeroplane. There's no way of saying anything other than that. It's quite a simple little bush plane on the surface, but there's a lot simulated inside it. You can play games with fueling it with canisters and things like that, so all of the covers come off the wings, for example, and you can sit and fill the airplane up. You can turn the propeller around, you can do all kinds of stuff. The engine simulation is incredibly accurate. So, you know, like I said, underneath this simple surface lies actually a really, really nicely built airplane. So, William Kelly in the live stream comments has immediately said, the Rans 6S is really well done. There's a special version for Flight Sim 2024 as well, which is using lots of the new features in the sim, so it's incredibly well simulated. So we'll be seeing that in a moment. Before we go and play with the aeroplane, because obviously we'll be in the aeroplane throughout the flight, we're going to go and have a look at the airfield. So this is from Orbex. It's Reichenbach Airfield. So if I show you on the map where we are to begin with, we are in the Swiss Alps, as you can see, and you can see our flight plan stretched out. Let's just minimize this out of the way. You can see our flight plan stretched out in front of us. So from Reichenbach over to Munster, then we're going to go over to Schanis, then down to Samadan and across to Bolzano. So we'll cross over into Italy at the end. So Reichenbach is down in this valley, and we'll go and have a look around the airfield. So you can see it's really nicely done. There is a, I think it's a skydiving school here, so we're going to go and have a look around the airfield anyway. There's lots of figures, they're all animated, they're really nicely done actually. So yep, she's nodding, she agrees. So 40s, Skydive Switzerland. So all of the interiors of the buildings are done really nicely. So we'll come further down and we got some sort of clubhouse here with parking. Yep, same girl again, nodding. It's really well done, isn't it? I think the animations with the people are great. They really do make it a little bit more immersive. And the trees and the bushes. Obviously some people here as well. I'm getting deja vu with the people though. I don't know about you. Okay, so there's another hangar here. And if we spin around, we've got one of the skydive aircraft. It's a C208, isn't it? Without the pack underneath. Okay, so if we spin around, so there's bits and pieces of scenery here that are integrated in, like the bridges over the river and the road past the airfield. But it's just a really nicely done little airfield. It's not too expensive. So if you're wanting to give yourself somewhere good to fly in and out of in the Alps, you can do far worse than this. Okay, I'm going to go and jump down into the aeroplane, so we'll just speed the drone camera up. As we reach each airfield along the way, we'll go and have a look around it, because like I said, each airfield we're visiting is available from Orbex. Okay, I'm going to turn my own volume up so I can hear the aeroplane. Before we get going as well, I'm just going to do a few things to check what's going on with the sim. So let's go to my volume mixer. So I'm just double checking because I have come unstuck in the past. So yeah, SayIntentions is turned down a little bit because it can be loud. So let's go and ask the tour guide at SayIntentions then, before we get going, what they can tell us about Reichenbach. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Reichenbach Airfield?
Reichenbach Airfield, or LSGR, is a small airfield located in the picturesque Bernese Oberland region of Switzerland. It was established in the early 20th century and has been serving aviation enthusiasts and pilots ever since. The airfield is known for its stunning views of the surrounding mountains and is a popular spot for glider pilots due to the favorable thermals in the area. Interestingly, it's also close to the famous Reichenbach Falls, where Sherlock Holmes had his legendary confrontation with Professor Moriarty. So, if you ever feel like channeling your inner detective, this is the place to be.
There you go. Okay, so let's go and pull the drone camera back down to the aeroplane so it's not miles away when we next need to use it. And, oh, that's our aeroplane. We're not in the 153. You can see there's animated trains and things going by. It's really nicely done. So, let's go and get into the airplane. So this is the Rans 6S. You can see I've already gone and topped the fuel up. So you can see some of the features that are hidden inside this. You've got engine health. You can lunch the engine quite spectacularly if you don't look after it. We've got the options around where the tail number goes on the aeroplane. You can have the GPS or not. I've opted to have the basic GPS. And you can put the spats on the wheels as well if you want. So let's go and flip that over. That gives you your checklist on the other side of the piece of paper. So let's go and put that away for the moment and have a look around the aeroplane. So we've got battery switch, which we're going to turn on. We've got the avionics switch, panel lights, nav lights, strobe lights, landing lights. We've got breakers, they all work. Got your basic engine instruments over here. So you've got your temperatures and pressures, and then you've got your 6-pack. So you've got RPM, airspeed. Notice you don't have... Now, what would normally be there in the 6-pack? That's a good question. The HSI, I guess. So we haven't got that, but we have got a little GPS. So our fuel switch is down on the floor. So we're going to flip it downwards to open the fuel up. We're going to go and then turn the mags to both for the moment. Notice we don't have mixture control. The engine doesn't need it. So it's got carburetors, I guess. So we can just crack the throttle open to start the engine. There is choke there as well. I'm not sure we'll need it. It's a lovely warm day. And we've got the parking brake. Let's just exercise some of these switches to make sure they work. Yes, they do. And let's go and turn the engine over. Straight away. So, rather than mess around, I'm just going to turn the engine off. And I'm going to press Alt and P, but before we do that, we need to jump outside the aeroplane again. Oh, the Xbox is drifting. Look at that. I need to buy a new Xbox controller. All of the game machine controllers tend to drift. So we haven't got covers here by the look of it. Or have we? No, that's just the radiator grill, isn't it? Have we got a pitot cover to remove? Yes, we have. So I'm just going to have a quick look around, make sure we have removed all the covers and everything we need to around the aeroplane. I think we're looking good. So we can give things a wiggle if we want on the way round, and all the animations are done really nicely. So you can see all the cables moving. And if you get the right angle, you'll actually see the controls move when you do this. Yeah, you see the stick moving there in the cockpit? That always fascinates me that they've gone that far with it. So we can do the same trick. If we go and waggle the aileron, you'll see the stick in the cockpit going from side to side. Okay, so we can walk up. We should be able to, or maybe not, we can't click on the handle directly. So we'll press Shift and C, get back in the aeroplane. Paul Arrowsmith is saying, would you recommend SayIntentions? Absolutely. It's been a game changer for me. I had shied away from showing VATSIM in the channel for the longest time, and that was for two reasons. The primary reason is coverage. So you always end up, if you want to use VATSIM, and VATSIM is fantastic, if you want to do controlled flight in the sim, sorry for stopping the video to answer this question, but I think this is a good one to answer properly. If you want to do ATC in the sim and communicate with ATC, VATSIM is probably the best option because you're talking to humans. But the coverage that VATSIM provides can be very spotty. So if they're running an event, it'll be fantastic because they'll be tooled up and ready. And every phase of an IFR flight, you know, right from clearance, ground, tower, departures, radar, or, you know, or sector coverage along the way, it will all be covered. And it'll be fantastic and just like the real world. But the reality is, if you're not flying as part of an event, which can be incredibly busy, then you might have a very different experience, and you'll have huge areas of your journey where there's no coverage. That's where AI comes in, and AI has kind of solved that. So you've got full coverage everywhere all the time. So AI is looking at where you are, figuring out what coverage should be where you are, and it gives you a person to talk to. And SayIntentions does that. So the second thing that SayIntentions has solved for me, and Beyond ATC will do the same thing for you, by the way. SayIntentions has solved the whole. There is a term for this, and I can't remember it. But the nerves around talking to ATC, it gets you over that hump. So if you've never talked to ATC, I'm lucky. I've taken part in many, many group flights where, as part of the group flight, one of the people or two of the people were designated as ATC, so you were talking to them and using the radio telephony language to do so, which is, you know, it's not rocket science. It's quite simple once you get used to it, but you do have to get used to it, and that can be quite nerve-wracking to begin with. And obviously AI gives you a very controlled, closed environment where you can go learn with nobody else hearing you do it, and you can make your mistakes. So obviously I do that in public on the live stream, and you'll see me make mistakes and I'll hold my hand up to them. So yeah, that's why I think SayIntentions is fantastic for that reason. Beyond ATC does exactly the same thing for IFR. Where SayIntentions has an enormous advantage over Beyond ATC, and this might change, is SayIntentions handles VFR as well as IFR. So just pootling around up and down the valleys around Switzerland, for example, like we're doing today, VFR flight. Yeah, so just that's all I wanted to cover really there, and I'm sorry I paused this flight to go into that in such depth, but hopefully that's interesting to those of you that have maybe not played around with anything like SayIntentions. It can seem quite expensive, but they give you a lot for what you get. Yeah, so you've always got ATC coverage should you want it. Okay, also I should say on top of the ATC coverage, you've also got a mentor and a tour guide that are sat up there in the cloud. So let's try them now. Well, we just saw a moment ago, I asked Sarah, our tour guide for today, and you can choose your tour guides and mentors. I asked the tour guide about Reichenbach, and she told us quite in depth all about it. And obviously that's just using the large language model with AI, which you could do in Gemini or whatever, but you're doing it hands-free, so you're just talking to it while you're flying along. And we can do the same with the mentor. So I've assigned a mentor that knows everything about everything. I'm actually one of the mentors in SayIntentions, which is I think it's quite amusing. And I don't like talking to myself, so I always choose somebody else to sit in the cockpit with me. So I can ask the mentor, for example, what can you tell us about the Rans 6S? and the mentor will come back in a moment.
The Rans S6 is a light sport aircraft known for its excellent handling and versatility. It's designed for both recreational flying and flight training. With a high wing configuration, it offers great visibility and stability. Plus, its low stall speed makes it forgiving for new pilots. Did you know it can be equipped with either a Rotax or Jabiru engine, providing options for performance and efficiency? Keep up the great work.
There we go. So that was, I'll show you in the application how it works. So within SayIntentions, you can go into the cog menu, and you can go into intercom, and you can have several channels. So alongside being able to talk to ATC, I can have 2 intercom channels. So I've chosen to have a mentor and a tour guide. But I could have, if I was in one of the big tube liners, I could have cabin crew, I could have the co-pilot. I can work through checklists with the co-pilot, so he can be reading out the checklist, and I can be saying that I've done them. It is that good. SkyOps, you can simulate things like searching for lost people in the mountains or fires or whatever else. So you get the emergency station talking to you over the radio, guiding you. And then you radio back when you've discovered what they're sending you to search for example. So you can almost play a game in it with that. It's very good, and it has flares that appear in the landscape, you know, if you're searching for like a mountain rescue emergency or something. But there you go. It does a lot more than it seems on the surface, and there's a lot more coming. SayIntentions are not standing still at all. They are coming out soon with a feature called Skynet, where people running 2024 and 2020 will be able to see each other. Yeah, so it will solve that problem. And I believe from reading the press releases about it, Skynet is going to be free. So it will be a free stepping stone into the world of SayIntentions being part of your simulator. Obviously, off the back of that, if you go and then get a paid account with SayIntentions, you can talk to each other over the radio. And you can simulate that whole, you know, the radio degradation over distance. So in the same way that we hear the radio getting worse further away with the controllers, you'll hear that with the other pilots in the group, for example. Anyway, let's go and jump back inside our aeroplane, if I can remember. How have we done this? Which view is which? That's the outside view. So if I press backspace, there we go. Let's go and turn the engine over again then. So we're just going to run the engine up and warm it up for a few moments. Oh, actually, before we do that, I needed to push back, didn't I? Turn the engine off again. I've got sidetracked look and completely lost the plot. So we removed the wheel chocks, so we're going to press Alt and P, turn the wheel brakes off. Obviously, there's nobody here to push us back, but we want to give ourselves some turning room. So we're going to push ourselves onto the grass, and we'll cut down this taxiway here. So Alt P, we'll turn that back off, turn the parking brake back on, go and turn the engine over. So we'll just warm it up for a few moments. So while it's running up, we'll go and turn the nav lights on and the panel lights. Actually, we don't need panel lights, it's a lovely sunny day, isn't it? So avionics on. And I, in true kind of children's TV fashion, I have put the route into the GPS before I started streaming. So Paul's saying is Skynet like the Terminator? I think, yeah, they've kind of chosen that name on purpose to get those jokes running. But yeah, so Skynet is going to be great because it will take over the aircraft injection in the sim, so you'll be able to turn multiplayer off, and then anyone in the group using SayIntentions will be able to see each other with really good injection of aircraft models. And of course the huge advantage there is that they're going to release Skynet for lots of simulators, not just Flight Sim 2024, for example. So eventually they're talking about P3D and X-Plane as well. So we'll all be able to take part in group flights together. Okay, so GPS is up and running. We're not going to need the transponder today. unless we go for asking ATC to give us flight following. We don't need strobes yet, we don't need landing lights yet, so let's go and taxi out. So before we start moving, let's go and have a little look at where the wind is coming from today. And before we do that even, I just want to go into here and see what weather we've got. Are we using live weather? Yes, we are. Cool. I always prefer to use live weather, so we're going to taxi down to the far end then, to runway 04. So we can carry straight down here then. Good luck taking off in a business jet at this little short airfield. Okay, just make sure the flaps are working. So the lever in the middle of the cockpit is the flap lever. That looks like a handbrake in a car. We shouldn't need it with this lovely long runway. This aeroplane's very capable of short field. Oh, here comes another train. It's a very regular train, isn't it? Whizzing along the side of the valley there. Looks like we're going to have wonderful weather for our trip through the mountains. So we'll be picking our way, kind of finding our way as we go, to go scenic routes and, you know, taking the less travelled route, as they say. I think that train might just be on a loop, you know. Otherwise, that's the busiest piece of rural railway in the known universe. Okay, let's just hold short here for a moment and go and have a look and see what Reichenbach. We've got centre radio check frequency. So I'll show you this while we're here. So I can call radio check on my comm radio. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo radio check, and it will play my voice back to me.
This is what the ATC audio sounds like, and next is what yours sounds like.
Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo radio check. See what I mean about the simulation of radio chatter? It's good, isn't it? We have got a ramp frequency here, which is interesting, but we're going to go straight for CTAF, because that's Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, so that's in the absence of controllers for the airfield, you go to CTAF, and you just announce your intentions, hence the name of the software, SayIntentions. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, entering runway 04 for departure to the northeast. This little aeroplane doesn't need a huge runway like this. It's quite amusing really doing this. So all the needles are looking good. Okay, let's open it up. Race the train. Knots, or sorry, 40 miles per hour. 50, 60, and rotate, and we're in the air really easily, look. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo departing runway 04 airborne. And we're on our way. So rather than talk to traffic, so we should see if we can get flight following, which we, because we're doing a rather hazardous route in some ways through the mountains, we'll go and talk to centre. Centre, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo departing Reichenbach, requesting flight following.
Bravo Echo Kilo, Squawk 3115 and ident.
Squawk 3115 and ident, Bravo Echo Kilo.
I am working on that clearance, stand by.
Cleared to Golf Alpha Papa. After departure, I will fly radar vectors to Quadra, climbing to 6000 and departure frequency 127.P25, squawking 6547, zero single string.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo identified, over Reichenbach at 3000 feet, QNH 1020.
There we go, we are identified by ATC. They are now following our progress, keeping an eye on us. The scenery around here is wonderful, isn't it? I'm just going to turn back towards where we just departed from so you get to see the
Rans
airfield
Bravo
from
Echo
there.
Kilo, contact Zurich info 124.7.
Contacting Zurich info 124.7, Rans Bravo Echo Kilo. Zurich info Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo with you at 3,500 feet. Going for a tour of the Alps.
Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, Zurich Info, Gruitzi, Reichenbach, QNH 1020.
There we go. So we're off on our way now. So you can always, just reading the live stream comments about having no Arnie available as a tour guide or anything like that. You could always go and ask them. I'm guessing they'd have to pay licensing and get approval for famous voices, but it's not out of the, not out of the realms of possibility. It would be great fun, wouldn't it? Have Brian Blessed in the cockpit with you, losing his temper with you. That'd be quite amusing. Okay, so we are wandering away from our route. We're going to be going up into the hills at some point. Just keeping an eye on the GPS, make sure we're going roughly the right direction. So let's have a look at the map. So we're crossing along here. So if we go around the back of this mountain, and then we can stay fairly low, can't we? So we'll head along here. Unfortunately, the colouring on here doesn't really help us. But luckily we have a GPS in our pocket with Google Terrain View on it, which is much better. We have got Navigraph running as well. But that again, look, is not super clear, is it? Looking at Navigraph where the terrain is. Or it's a lot clearer on Google Terrain. Let's shut a few things off while we're doing this, so we haven't got quite as many things running. We don't need to have Windows settings still open. Just check the volume levels as well. I'm always a bit paranoid about making sure everybody can hear everything, so yeah, I'm going to turn the airplane down a bit. So then I don't have to shout, and you don't have to hear me bellowing over the engine noise the whole route. So we're going to keep an eye on the engine down here. Look, we're running it at 70% at the moment. So just lifting the... I had the flaps on the first stage just to give us some lift as we were climbing out there. I just raised it. It looks great, doesn't it, this aeroplane? Especially on a sunny day. So as I said, we're going to be weaving our way through the hills to avoid climbing too much, if we can help it. Famous last words there, look. So we climb around the back of here, and we do still have to get over this ridge. So there's going to be some fun flying along the way. I've just gone and calibrated the altimeter. Obviously, as we're coming into this weather, the barometric pressure is changing a lot. So we're going to circle here. I'm just looking to hold about 500 feet a minute on the climb rate. Obviously, we can't see horizon, so we're having to use the attitude indicator. It's one of the nice things. Now in 2024, there isn't that horizon bug anymore. So you really have no tips about where the horizon is. So we're gently climbing in this bowl of a valley. And we're pretty much there. Keeping an eye on that airspeed, keeping an eye on the climb rate. Maybe not. If we keep down this way a little bit, we'll get over the ridge. And then we'll turn right. So I'm just lessening the climb rate slightly to let the airspeed come up. I'm conscious of not pushing the engine too much. A lot of the rest of the route is not going to be anywhere near as death-defying as this. But you can see we are climbing quite a long way away from the valley where we came out of. So it's just about picking your route, really. Finding a nice way through. Yeah, you can see, there we go, look. Probably need to put a coat on. It was sunny in the valley. Still sunny up here, but probably get sunburnt to pieces. So we're up to 6,500 feet. Probably going to be one of the highest points of the trip, to be honest. Should have put skis on the plane, shouldn't I? There is a variant of this with skis. There's one with floats as well, I think. There's one with I'm not sure about skis, but there's certainly one with the big balloon tyres as well. Tundra tyres, I think they call them. Okay. So we're going to loop around the bottom of this mountain right in front of us. So Alp Gluch, I think you pronounce that. We're going to go to the left when we get to the next valley end. So like I said, it's going to be a roundabout route today. We're not going to be straight lining anything. We have to keep our eyeballs open and our senses about us, or wits about us, I should say. Is there a way out of here, or do we have to circle it? I think we're going to have to circle. Or we maybe have to turn back left around the back of here to keep the low route, or to keep searching out the low route. We're still climbing 500 feet a minute. No, that's not looking good, is it? So we're going to have to circle here for a while to get some altitude. Gives us a chance to admire the scenery for a little while we're climbing. Look at these rock faces, they're amazing, aren't they? So I'm juggling climb rate and airspeed as we're turning. Trying to keep the airspeed up, but also just keep it climbing the whole time. So we're coming up through 7,200. I don't want to thrash the engine because we'll damage it. There's also the thing about, one more orbit, I think, and we'll be able to go over the top. There's just the worry at the back of your mind all the time about getting yourself into, as the air gets thinner and you get higher, you get closer to a peak, and depending on the wind, let's have a look at the wind. It's behind us in terms of the direction we want to be going. Or could we go along the valley a little way and find a lower way in? No, I think this is the best way in, to be honest, that we're following. Okay, let's go for it. We could either go this side or round the back. Going around the back gives us longer, therefore more altitude. But I think we can get through this gap. And then we're into the next valley. Let's just hold it level, keep an eye on the vertical speed, let the speed climb. So once we get through here, we're actually wanting to straight line this down into this valley if we can. So straight across to the next pass. Unless we go roundabout and deviate enormously. So if we cut down through here, depends what altitude that is through there, I guess. God, this scenery is incredible, look. It's like an alien planet. In between the mountains. I'm continuing to climb. We're at 9,000 feet. So in the real world, if you tried to do this, you'd have to have an oxygen bottle on board and a cannula for your nose, I guess, to maintain oxygen. Although there is a difference from person to person in how good people are at dealing with altitude. Obviously, this aeroplane isn't pressurized. I've mentioned it before. There's a fantastic video on, is it Baron Pilot, the channel is called on YouTube, where his girlfriend starts to suffer from hypoxia during a normal GA flight. He's fine, but she starts to struggle. And in her struggle, even trying to get the oxygen kit up and running, she starts to panic, which slows her down. And it's really, really instructive as to how quickly that can, go south on you, really. So we're going to turn left in a moment. We're going to go for that top of that ridge over there. There's a lower point than the rest. Oh, we might be able to go around the back actually. So we just come over 10,000 feet. Welcome to the Alps. Of course, having done all this climbing, we'll be going straight back down again later.
At our 10 o'clock position, about 17 kilometers away, we can see Jungfrau Park. This amusement park opened in 2003 and is themed around the stunning Jungfrau region. It's not just a place for rides, it also features exhibitions about the natural wonders of the area, including the famous Eiger, Monk, and Jungfrau Mountains. The park is particularly popular with families and thrill seekers alike, offering everything from roller coasters to educational experiences about the local environment. Interestingly, the park was built to attract more tourists to the region, which is already famous for its breathtaking scenery and outdoor activities. So if you're ever in the mood for a mix of fun and nature, Jungfrau Park is the place to be.
Okay, so we're flying along this valley. Obviously you can see us on the map here.
Zulu, ready for descent.
And we're looking for a way across. We may have to go round. It may be easier to go around than go over. Although saying that, it's starting to, yeah, we may find a low point.
Zulu cleared Odin 3 Golf arrival into Malpensa.
So we're wanting to turn right, but we don't want to go and smash into a hillside.
Cleared Odin 3 Golf, arrival into Malpensa, Alpine 52 Yankee Zulu.
Yeah, he needs more than just his shirt sleeves today, doesn't he? Oh, they're saying that in the sunshine, within the cabin it's probably lovely and toasty.
Here for Lufthansa 656 is on flight.
Yeah, we can get through here, look.
Good afternoon.
Look at that, there's a station on the top of the hill.
656 Zurich info identified, good afternoon.
So we're going to go and fly past it and have a look at it. Because we can. So an unintended discovery while we're here. Now, am I going to run out of lift though? We're getting near the ceiling of the aeroplane. Keeping good airspeed though. But then at this high altitude, the wings will just run out of lift eventually, regardless of the speed you're doing, depending on the design of the aeroplane obviously. Because the air is just getting thinner and thinner. I'm probably near stall even at 80 knots. I'm having to hold quite a lot of back pressure on the stick. But hopefully this is the highest point. Just going to scrape through this pass and have a look at this building as we go by. I'm not going to be able to circle it. I think we'll stall if we bank the wings too much. Is it a helipad, do you think? It's interesting, isn't it? Pass it on the right side and have a look at it. It's an observatory on the top. Yes, it must be just an observatory. Or a series of them, look. Telescopes. Awesome. It won't be fun to get up there, will it? Right, let's come off the power a little bit. Now we're levelling out and descending back down. Okay. So we're going to make our way down to the valley where Munster is. I'm tempted to just carry straight on down this valley. I guess we could jump across through... Yeah, let's go through the passes and make it a bit more interesting for ourselves. So just looking at this on the map, we're looking at coming through here and then follow down versus just going straight down the straight line route. So we can actually keep an eye on this. If we go and look on this card and flip the card over, we can see our engine health is fine. So we haven't been racing the engine. So that's why I was being so careful with circling and taking our time to get to altitude versus just, you know, opening the engine wide open.
Whiskey, we have an incident on board and have to return to Bern. Negative Hotel November Whiskey.
They have an incident on board.
Hotel
Okay.
November Whiskey Roger. Return to Meiringen approved. Descend altitude 7,000 feet. Advise when ready for further instructions.
That's interesting, isn't it, with the simulator? If we look right, the frame rate drops. If we look left, it's lovely and smooth. I wonder what causes that. I've noticed that a few times recently. Whether it's a bug in Sim Update 2, I'm not sure. It's become very, very stuttery look all of a sudden. If we look right, if we look left, it's not doing it. But it will clear itself up again later. It's weird. Frame rate's dropping through the floor, look. But this side is fine. There's something in the scenery on the right hand side of us that it doesn't like. That it's down to 4 or 5 frames a second. I wonder if it's these scree slopes with millions of boulders are causing it. It's smoothing out, look. How weird. Something it doesn't like that it was trying to draw, and it's still doing it. It's getting better all the time. There was something we passed back there. So what server am I on? I think I might be on Southeast Asia, but I should probably change the server. Should we do that? If I go to settings and go to online, yeah. Let's change it to North Europe. Oh no, Western Europe. There we go. Save and back. Back. I've got multiplayer on, so we should see people around. So we need to do a left turn. We could go across the top of this hill rather than going all the way around the valley. We've still got the altitude at the moment. Yeah, it keeps rendering in these scree slopes when we get close to some of the hillsides. Usually they're okay, but sometimes it has a real problem with it. It's strange. Okay, we can see greenery reappearing as we descend. So we're back coming down, back down to 9,000 feet. Need to keep an eye on the throttle now. Look.
Arnaz approach runway 9. Kilo Oscar Romeo.
Kilo Oscar Romeo, contact Swiss radar on 135.68.
So this is the airfield coming up down in the bottom of this valley. In fact, this might be it here. I think it is. It's a snowy visit to Munster, which is just in front of Ulriken. So we can see there's Ulriken and there's Munster. So off the throttle. Let's side slip the aeroplane and see what sort of descent rate we can do. We're off the gauge at the moment, look, holding 100 miles per hour. Look at the altimeter dropping. So I'm just side slipping towards that hillside over there. I was hoping to fly along this river and have a little look at some of the cottages and stuff along the way. And then circle the airfield before we park up there and go and have a look at it. In the snow it might not be that interesting to look at. We may have to change the weather to get a decent look at the airfield. I wasn't anticipating the weather being this bad up here. But given the time of year, maybe we need to go forwards another few months for it to not have so much snow. Even the railway line's covered in snow, look. But the train's not stopping the train. What's that program called on the TV? Snowpiercer, is it called? And there you go. So if we were to change the weather so we can see the ground, if we went for custom and take ourselves further into the year, that's not removing the snow, is it? Ah, but that would need us to do this. There we go. I just want you to be able to see the airfield. Look, 'cause there's gliders and a building, and so maybe we'll go a few clouds while we're here. Which way was the wind? Okay, it suits coming in runway 23 then. Maybe we leave it on a few clouds for a while, because then you get to see all the beautiful valleys and stuff in the mountains without everything being a whiteout.
One maintaining current altitude.
So we just taxi up and have a look around the airfield buildings. What I'll do is turn the plane around on the runway and just leave it here, and we use the drone camera to have a look around the airfield. I'll leave the engine running and turn off head tracking while we're using the drone camera. So, this is Munster Airport. Or airfield, I should say. So obviously a big glider airfield. Not surprising, is it, with these amazing hills around here. Obviously quite popular with the bar. People come out here for the day, I guess. There is something very weird going on with the rendering. I wonder if it's to do with display drivers. It becomes stuttery at the most unexpected moments. It's not like it's drawing a lot, is it? So that's Munster. We're going to get on our way and we're going to fly so if we go and put the live weather back on, so go real time live weather, we'll see how we go. If it does become too boring with the whiteout all the time, we'll change our plans, but I think it might be clearing up in front of us a little bit. Happens if you look where you're going. I'm doing two things at once here. I'm rubbish at multitasking. Yeah, do you know what? To make this prettier and more fun for you guys to watch, I'm going to turn the live weather off and go to just a few clouds for today. So our next destination, way across the hills, is Schanis. So we're going to go and follow this low route all the way. So it should be able to stay fairly low to the ground and get away with it. How's it feel at where you're going?
We are fully IMC requesting heading to Lima Sierra Mike 24.
So this is the what used to be Ulriken. So you can see where the airfield was, or where the runway was, is just marked out with X's. I think it was a military airfield. Should we ask Sarah on the AI tour guide to chip in? Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about this part of the world?
This part of the world is known for its stunning alpine scenery, and we're currently flying over the beautiful Valais region. Just to our northeast, about 10 miles out, is the iconic Matterhorn, one of the most famous mountains in the Alps, standing at 4,478 meters. It's a favorite among climbers and photographers alike, and its distinctive pyramid shape has made it a symbol of Switzerland. The first successful ascent was made in 1865, but it came at a cost, as 4 of the 7 climbers died during the descent. So, while we enjoy the view, let's remember that this mountain has seen its fair share of adventure and tragedy.
So that's the Matterhorn, its pyramid peak. let's zoom out on this. So why is that so different than my route? I think one of these airfields isn't in the navigation system, you know, so it hasn't put it in. So we'll just have to follow the little nav map. It's just dropped one of the waypoints, hasn't it? That's why it's going the wrong direction. So anybody coming in late, we've turned the live weather off because it was quite snowy. Like very, very snowy. Now, which way do we go? So a quick check. Oh, we can go this way. So we're going to go left and then right, follow the road. Just trimming the elevator slightly. So you can see the trim. Does the trim move? Yeah, it does. So if I hold the trim on, you can see that happen. So I'm obviously trimming with my controller rather than the mouse on the trim wheel. What altitude are we at? We're at 6,000 feet, just about. The highest point we've seen so far was 11,000 feet, just crossing one of the alpine passes. But after that, I think it's going to be much lower throughout the rest of the route. Look at the traffic going up and zigzagging to get up to that. There's the pass there, look. That's mad, isn't it? Same again on that hillside, look. And here. So yeah, we can follow this route then. So we're going down towards Hospental and Rossmettlen. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Hospental?
I'm sorry, but I can't provide information about hospitals. However, if you're interested in something
AI
else
doesn't
nearby,
understand.
just let me know.
She misunderstood me. Okay, let's ask the mentor about flying at high altitude in unpressurized aircraft. Look, that scenery, there's something weird going on, isn't there? Whether it's a display driver issue or a simulator issue, I'm not entirely sure. And we need to get out of here. And the sound is cutting as well. I think the simulator's having a bad day, you know. Look at that frame rate dropping. And it's not like it's drawing anything either, because there's no vegetation. It's that might be a data problem. Look, there was nothing on the hillside. I wonder if it is a data problem. Okay, we're not going to make that pass. I was just looking at airspeed and climb rate, so we're going to orbit. I think that's a data problem, you know. It happened last night. I couldn't log into the simulator. I was going to go and log in late last night and I couldn't, and it kept stalling out. I think it's losing sight of the servers or struggling. So as it's trying to stream in data, it's having problems. There we go. some of this data doesn't look as high resolution as it should be, and a lot of the vegetation's missing. Yeah, I think there are problems in Microsoft land. And it is loading in, look, slowly. The higher resolution is appearing. I know the sim gets a lot of flack about stability, but you have to remember that this simulator is attempting to do stuff that no one's ever tried to do before, so they are very much finding out how to do it as they go. Doing what it does at the scale it does it for the number of people it does it for is just mind-blowing, really. So if we went back to live weather, what would it look like along here? Not so different. Interesting. So live weather gives us the snow back on the peaks. So we're just coming down towards Hospental, which the AI couldn't understand, up through Wassen and then Schatzdorf. We're going to have to somehow pick our way through these hills. If the simulator stays alive, it's stuttering badly. Look, it's having moments, isn't it, where it... You can see it here. There's very low resolution in front of us. And it's suddenly unlocking itself now and again. Never seen this happen before. So if anybody from Asobo is watching, this is a live demonstration. Yeah, look, trees are suddenly appearing. It's obviously server issues causing it. So there's people in the live stream saying, you know, obviously it's a bad patch. No. This simulator is so complex. There's so many moving parts. The thing you're running on your computer is just the client. The other end of this will be colossal. The thing that's feeding the data will be, you know, and it's all over the world. It's not in one place. The infrastructure required to do this is gigantic. I haven't seen many crashes. I think most of the crashes people experience tend to be because they're running incompatible software. I may be wrong, but I haven't seen many crashes from the sim at all. Xbox may be a different story, of course, but the fact they can get it to run at all on Xbox hardware is just incredible to me. Yeah, you can see this is not loading data. We've got bold hills all over the place. Even here, there's missing information. So, do we go right here or left? We should be going left. Yeah, suddenly look, all of the rocks have appeared. The textures have filled in on the hills. It's a different world when the data arrives. So if anybody ever wonders what it looks like without the data, you've seen it today versus with the data. So once the landscape has been painted with the appropriate textures, it makes such a difference. With the foliage, look right out into the distance. So it's actually been really instructive to see what the difference is. But I think Sim Update 3 is going to be concentrating on fixing bugs and tuning it, and obviously making the simulator run more smoothly and more reliably. I tend to find myself walking quite a fine line with it. I don't experiment with the sim very much. I leave it on default settings. And I only install things for it that are designed for 2024. Although saying that, I have tried the 2020 compatible aircraft from Coronado, and the only difference with those really is the material modelling is slightly off. Okay, so we follow this valley along, and this takes us out towards the water down here. So has this lake got a name? Weerwoldstadsee. Weerwoldstadsee. Let's ask the tour guide. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Weerwoldstadsee?
I'm sorry, but I don't have information on Weerwoldstadsee. However, if you're interested in something else nearby,
it's probably my
just
pronunciation.
let me know.
Hi Sarah, we're coming up to a lake in a little while, just a bit north of us. Where is it?
The lake you're approaching is likely Lake Ritom, which is just a bit north of our current position. It's a stunning reservoir surrounded by mountains, and it's known for its beautiful turquoise waters. The lake is a popular spot for hiking and enjoying nature, and it even has a funicular railway that takes visitors up to the nearby mountain trails. So, get ready to enjoy the view as we fly over this picturesque spot.
Zurich Info, good afternoon. STV2 Alpha with you at 22 for flight level 330.
South Coast 002, Alpha, Zurich Info, identified. Good afternoon.
So we appear to have come through that whole problem with the servers feeding the scenery. Look, when they feed it, it's really smooth. Like, 60 frames a second smooth. Although I capped the sim at 30 frames a second. But you can see, look, the difference is stunning, the smoothness. So it's obviously a server issue going on today. It was happening last night. I tried for about half an hour logging in and removing things from community and running VPN to appear to come in from different countries, and everywhere seemed to be having problems. I went and had a look at Down Detector, but there was nothing obvious. So it would appear that while the simulator is more resilient, it does it at the expense of frame rate when it starts to struggle with, fetching data. So rather than putting a big green box up saying lost data connection or whatever, lost the server connection. It doesn't seem to. It just starts stuttering. Okay, we're just coming up to the turn. We'll see the lake ahead of us in a moment. Heads off into the mountains. Is that the Matterhorn? The one with the pointy peak? I think it might be. There's the lake. So we need to pick our way through these valleys. We could take a right turn here and follow all of this line of valleys through. That's probably the nicest way, isn't it? Go over the top of Mollis. Or we go the long way round, fly over the lake. I need to look where I'm going. I just spotted the direction the aeroplane was going. This has no autopilot, by the way, so it's down to me. Did I turn on... Let's put the strobes on so other people can see us. So I think were we on Zurich centre control earlier? Should we do a radio check? Centre, Rans, Golf Juliet, Bravo, Echo, Kilo, radio check please. That wasn't the best, though I guess we are in a valley, so radio communication might not be great. Yeah, we should be on Zurich Info. So the Centurion's asking, does anyone use an Elgato Stream Deck? Yes, I do, and I got it in front of me and I hardly ever touch it. It was a great idea. My dad actually bought it for me as a birthday present a couple of years back, and it's a great idea, and you end up tinkering with it. Or in my case, I ended up tinkering with it, making all sorts of pages of buttons that you could press to do things. And then I've never touched it since. I think part of it, for me specifically, is I like to understand the aeroplanes and flick the switches in the cockpit. Having that simulated into a little grid of buttons in front of you, you don't get that muscle memory of where things are. So the fun for me is in operating the aeroplane as it should be, not, you know, my one-size-fits-all template that I've stuck over the top of all the buttons that I can then use. I hope that makes sense, because that's kind of what you're doing with the Stream Deck. You're saying, regardless of what's in this cockpit, I've got my 10 buttons here, or 20 or 30, and I'll use mine. I'll plug my control interface in and I'll use mine, my one-size-fits-all. It doesn't have to be one. An Elgato Stream Deck, you can have multiple profiles, so you could have different sets of buttons for every aeroplane, but I can't see the point, because you've got a lovely interface in the aeroplane to interact with it as it really is. I understand for VR it's a different story, but then for VR you wouldn't be able to see the Stream Deck either. So you'd want more physical controls where you can go by feel, like a HOTAS throttle and stick. But yeah, the Stream Deck looks wonderful on paper, and I thought I'd use it loads, and I didn't. I very, very rarely use it. I think my dad's got one, and he uses it purely for switching radio channels in Discord. So he flies with group flights with a group called MyAir, and they have different different voice channels to simulate ATC frequencies, and that's what he uses it for. Is to flick between different voice channels. I could use it with OBS, so I could wire it up to be, you know, pausing the recording or whatever I wanted to do with it, changing the volume levels. Never bothered with that either. Hey look, there's some pleasure boats down in the lake. It's flat calm down here, isn't it? How are we doing for fuel? It's up in the wing route, isn't it? So, oh, we've got loads. I filled it right up. So we've used about 10% of our fuel. Okay, let's have a look. We're coming up through the hills. If we turn right at the next one, must be through here, I guess. But yeah, I did think about. I'm never cheeky enough in terms of pushing myself forwards. If I go in a, well, I just don't approach the various manufacturers. Given the number of subscribers I've got now, I could probably go and approach the likes of Logitech or whoever, and say, "Can you send me everything?" And I'll show people in real terms how it all works. You know, all your kit with the simulator. But I'm never cheeky enough to ask them. There's also something I've become aware of, and obviously I make money from YouTube, for example, and obviously that means I have to declare the tax on it all and do everything very properly, and I'm very lucky my other half used to be a chartered accountant, so she looks after all of that for me. But if anybody gives me a freebie, which happens is quite rare, but the Tobii eye tracker was a good example, I have to then pay the tax. So they give it me for nothing, but I still have to pay the tax as if I'd bought it. Let's go up this valley. So I'm wary of getting too many freebies, because I'll just end up paying a mountain of tax for freebie hardware. I'm not sure how it works if I then send it back. So if I have it on loan, I don't think I then have to. Let's go up this valley and start climbing. I'm going to get myself a bit of altitude to play with so I can widen the valley for myself if I need to orbit. I don't want to be in the bottom of the valley running out of airspeed with no room to turn. So we are climbing like 1,000 feet a minute at the moment. And you can see we're going to be climbing for quite some way. So if we run out of climb rate, I want to give myself room. Yeah, it's funny, whenever I see pictures of people's home cockpits, I've got less hardware than everybody, or anybody. I've got a Thrustmaster stick, a Thrustmaster quadrant. I've got the Airbus Captain's Pack stick and quadrant. I don't have rudder pedals. I don't have any radio panels or anything like that. You know these wonderful WinWing MCDUs and things like that have come out, and FMCs? I don't have anything like that at all. The one thing I do have is the Tobii eye tracker, and that's because they gifted me it in return for doing a proper review of it, which I did when it first came out, and I did a long-term review as well. As far as I'm aware, Tobii have had to put their prices up significantly because of the tariffs in the US. So US customers wanting to go and buy, or pilots then, simulator pilots in the US wanting to go buy a lot of this stuff now have to pay a lot more for it than they used to. I don't know if that story is changing, Hopefully it is. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, and I would ask everybody not to on my channel, please. It's just, you know, observing what was actually happening, which was a shame. Right, we're crossing into the next valley. So we should be able to straight line it across here. Some of these rock formations are amazing, aren't they? We can pull this up out of the way, the shades, so we can see above our head. It's quite cool, isn't it? Because then if we use the ailerons, there we go, look, you can see the cables moving around. It's all wonderfully mechanical in this aeroplane. Let's have a quick look at the map. Yeah, so we're going roughly the right direction. We'll just follow this big wide valley. I'm not going to drop into the bottom of it in case we get any sudden climbs we have to do to avoid orbiting too much, so we'll hug the side of the valley. Can you imagine how living in some of these remote buildings, or working in them even? Crazy, wouldn't it? Look at that, it's quite a busy, big town down there. Okay, oh, we're going the wrong way. We need to cut across then. We do need to get across that higher pass then. So we're going to go for, do we go left? Yeah, we go for the lower part. It would be spectacular to go up this pass, but I think this is safer. We do get a view back along the valley, look, that we've flown along. It's quite cool. I think at some point in the route we'll do some pattern work at an airfield somewhere just to show UAI ATC, so SayIntentions doing its job. Because obviously while we're flying along VFR there's not much to talk to. We've got flight following on with Centre, but they're not really having to hand us off because we're just pootling along through the valleys. And they're keeping us on radar, but keeping an eye on us. So we've got the transponder on. Was it 3115? Yeah. And we've got altitude mode on. So they're keeping track of us, but they've got nothing really to say to us. If we were to put ourselves in a hillside, they would be able to obviously report our last known location from radar, which would be quite good. So we probably need to start planning about how we're going to get into this airfield then. Do we go straight line or do we turn right here? I think we go right and over the top of Mollis. So we'll go around this corner and follow the valley round. And as we are descending, we can start go low level. We can go low level round here, can't we? It's not going to be an issue. We're not having to be so careful about suddenly facing a pass at the end of a valley several thousand feet above us. So look at this with all of the rubbish that's washed into the river. Or the stream, I should say, the mountain stream. It's really nicely done, isn't it? Is this the beginnings of photogrammetry going on around here? Or are these spiky rocks or trees? I think it's where the engine hasn't quite understood what it's seeing, maybe. I may be wrong. Maybe there are really sharp rocks around here. Need a geologist to confirm to us that, yeah, this is the sim getting it wrong. Pylons! God, look at those hills up there. Proper jagged mountains. Okay, so yeah, we're following round over the top of Mollis into Schanis. Again, Shannis, I've got the scenery from Orbex, so I've never seen it before. Obviously I saw their promo photographs on their website. There's links to each of these airfields we're visiting, by the way, in the notes of the video. And this aeroplane. This aeroplane is fantastic. You can get it from Builds. I think you can also get it from Orbex, but I put a link for Builds in the notes of the video. It is brilliant fun. And there's lots of little Easter eggs in it. Things like being able to fill it up with a fuel can. So I'll let you discover how to do that for yourself. So we've got a comment there from FPS Lego. Hey Jonathan, I purchased 2024 last week. Thank you very much for making videos based on its landing and so on. Helped me a lot. Yeah, you're welcome. All I'm really doing is sharing things as I discover them, or taking you along with me on flights that I go and do in the sim. Me writing up procedures and things started out totally as an accident. I was writing them for myself and sharing them with some friends who were learning the same aeroplane. And then somebody said, why don't you give these away to the world? And then my other half turned around after about a year and said, you're putting all these hours into writing these, why don't you sell them for a small amount? You know, like the price of a cup of coffee or something. And that's how I ended up using Ko-fi, the website. So yeah, it was all by accident. There was no grand plan behind any of it. I just loved playing with the simulator. Always liked aviation. And I'm sharing what I learn as I do it. It's interesting, we did I was away for a couple of days this week with work. And part of the of some of the programs they're doing at work is this thing called Gallup's Gallup strength tests analysis. So you go through this whole psychometric testing thing, and they figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are, which is no bad thing, because it means if you're trying to build a team for a big project, you can build a team that you can pretty much guess are going to work really well together. And two of my strengths, or the top two really, are learning and including. And apparently that's quite rare, because most people learn things and keep it to themselves. Whereas my kind of, I guess you put character trait, is I will share anything I learn with others and bring them along. It's kind of innate in me to do it, apparently. I didn't know this, or I didn't realize this. So, after doing all of these innocuous test questions that you just answer on first instinct, it came out that, it's just built into me to do what I'm doing in Flight Simulator, which is quite amusing, I think. Okay, so you can see Mollis directly below us. We carry on past the lake on the right, which will appear in a moment. It's just past this outcrop. And then the airfield we're going to is off to the left. So let's have a look at some of these rocks as we fly by. Whoa. You wouldn't want to get too close to that rock face, would you? It's funny, there's a comment there in the live stream about me apparently being good at explaining things. For several years with work, I ran around the country and Europe actually, training or teaching people things. So it did kind of prepare me a little bit, I guess, for it. There's a fine line between being patronizing to people and making things simple and hitting a middle ground so everyone can benefit rather than just, trying to not use acronyms. So if you ever hear me talking about flight plans, you'll no doubt notice I very rarely say SID or STAR. I will say standard instrument departure or standard terminal arrival route. I try to stay away from jargon if I can. But that's purely because of work, and I don't like jargon at work because there's so much of it. Apparently, especially with things like project management. So in the project management world, there's so much in the terms of acronyms and things like that, and it drives people around the twist.
Transport to VFR, thank you, bye-bye.
You wouldn't want to lose your engine over that sort of rock, would you? It's going to rip you to pieces. So I think this is the airfield coming in front of us. So there's the lake. So the lake's called Walensee and Schanis Airport. So let's ask the tour guide. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Schanis Airport?
Schanis Airport, also known as LSGS, is a small airport located in the Scenic region of Switzerland. It serves as a hub for general aviation and is popular among private pilots and flying enthusiasts. The airport is situated near the beautiful Lake Geneva, which offers stunning views and recreational opportunities. Interestingly, the airport was established in the early 20th century and has been a key location for various aviation activities ever since. It's a great spot for those who enjoy flying in and out of picturesque landscapes.
So we're heading straight towards it and I can't see it. Oh, is this it here? I think it might be. We were just dead in line with the runway, so it was awkward to spot it. This canal, it's amazing, isn't it? Straight as an arrow. Yeah, you can see it's rendering the runway now. So we'll orbit the airfield first. Do we have any comms at the airport? If it's only a tiny airport, it won't have any, will it? So let's have a little look. Unicom. No, it's just Common Traffic Advisory frequency. Zurich Info, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo requesting touch and go at Schanis.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Shannis, touch and go approved. Report on final approach.
We'll report on final approach, Bravo Echo Kilo. So let's have a look at the wind. Which way are we going to do this from? We should go for runway 34 ready, so we'll orbit around the airfield first. Descending as we go. So we've told them touch and go. We're not going to tell them the truth. We're actually going to stop. Let's see if they call us out for it. Because I want to go and have a look around the airfield.
Descend altitude 140 and descend flight level 140. Lufthansa von Annan. Zurich Info, good afternoon, Lufthansa 499. Requested continue descent.
Just turn the landing lights on and drop the flaps slightly. Zurich Info, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo on finals, touch and go at Schanis.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Shannis cleared for touch and go. Report on the go.
So we'll do the touch and go, and then we'll come in for a full stop, just to keep them happy, hey? Zurich Info, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo departing Schanis, requesting a full stop at Schanis.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Shannis cleared for full stop landing. Report on final approach.
We'll report on final approach at Schanis, Bravo Echo Kilo.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, no reported traffic on final approach at Schanis.
Copy. So we'll use the edge of the village as our turning point. Zurich Info, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo on finals for full stop landing at Schanis.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Shannis cleared for full stop landing. Report on the go.
AI makes a slight mistake there. Cleared for full stop landing, Schanis, Bravo Echo Kilo. Whoa, it started to corkscrew to the left then. I guess that was angle of attack. So I started to flare. That was really interesting. I started to flare, which means, if you think about the way the blades are attacking the air, as the nose comes up, the right-hand side of the propeller grabs more air and makes the aeroplane corkscrew left. That's how good the simulation of physics is getting. So we can turn our strobes and landing lights off and taxi back in towards the buildings to go and have a nosy around the airfield here. That's a lot of gliders, isn't it? Look at that lot. My word. So is that one tied to the ceiling? Must be, I suppose. So I'll leave the engine running while we're here, and we'll go and press Shift and X and Alt 7, but turns off head tracking while we're doing this. Let's go and have a look around Shannis then. This is cool, isn't it? So what sort of quality have they done the figures? Even though they don't really matter, it's quite nice to go and have a look at them, isn't it? And to see, are they animated here? No. So they're static figures, but it does make it look good. And from a distance, it means the frame rate's going to be pretty good. Very cool. Who knew that this little airfield was here? And it's quite an upmarket little airfield, isn't it? So if we come round to the way in, Flugplatz Schanis. Interesting. Oh, it's a restaurant, obviously. That would explain it. And a play park for the kids. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, can you imagine when you were about 6 or 7 years old, if you saw this, you'd have turned inside out, wouldn't you? Well, I would have anyway. So let's go and have a look around some of the rest of the buildings here. See how far this goes. There's caravans. Interesting. Obviously, I guess they sell caravans. I don't know. Or is it just a caravan park? People come here for the airfield with their caravan? I don't know. Oh, maybe if they're gliding, they come and stay and bring their caravan with them. There's a house here as well, and if we look further out, there's various other buildings, farms around us, obviously. Very cool. And the Alps are on your doorstep. Okay, let's go and jump back down to our little aeroplane and carry on our route. We'll go and have a look at the map and see where we're going next. We didn't look inside the hangar, did we? Should we go and have a look? Very cool. So let's go look at the map. We're leaving Schanis, so we're going to go and pick our way through to Samadan. So I guess we go along the Lake Walensee and then follow the flat valley around we should be able to pick our way through, shouldn't we? The last bit's going to be difficult, but if we double back this way, that may work. So I'll show you how to do this little lab map. You can add positions, so we can just right click and add positions, so we can remind ourselves the route we were kind of hoping to take. So around here. So now we've got some idea of where we're going that we can follow. Obviously this won't be in the avionics of the aeroplane. There is a way of doing that, but it doesn't work with the GPS that's in this particular aeroplane, unfortunately. So we don't need the whole runway here. So we're going to go full flaps, and we're going to go for a short takeoff with what's left of the runway right in front of us. Whoa! I think his wing went just over the top of us because we are so small. This is what I said about short takeoff. I am terrible at flying aeroplanes from the outside view. I don't know if you ever noticed that. I wonder if anybody knows there's boulders all over the railway line. And a ramp. Okay, so we're going to double back to Lake Walensee then. Let's go and ask Sarah about it. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Lake Walensee?
Lake Walensee is a stunning glacial lake located just to our east, surrounded by the majestic Alps. It's about 24 kilometers long and is known for its crystal clear waters that reflect the surrounding mountains beautifully. The lake is a popular spot for outdoor activities like sailing, swimming, and hiking along its scenic trails. Interestingly, the area is steeped in folklore, with tales of mysterious creatures said to inhabit the depths of the lake. So as we fly over, take a moment to appreciate not just the beauty of the lake, but also the stories that have been told about it for centuries.
Bravo, Zurich information, Hotel Bravo Sierra Golf Tango.
Hotel Bravo Sierra Golf Tango, Flugplatz Konstanz Info. Hello, pass your message.
Zurich information, Hotel Bravo Sierra Golf Tango. Zurich information, Hotel Bravo Sierra Golf Tango.
So the next hop across the hills takes us, as the crow flies, if we measure the distance, about 50 miles. But obviously it's going to be a bit further than that because we are going to be moving around, following the valleys. So let's go and tell Zurich information that we're actually heading towards Samadan. Zurich information, Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo departed Schanis en route to Samadan via the mountains.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, roger, report your position and altitude.
Current position, western end of Lake Walensee, altitude 2,200 feet.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, roger, position acknowledged at western end of Lake Walensee, altitude 2,200 feet. Thank you.
There we go. So for VFR, the ATC is absolutely fantastic. It does make mistakes because it's a large language model, but it's getting better all the time. The work that SayIntentions have put into it is just stunning, really. So the only reason I'm talking to centre there is that obviously it's not a controlled airfield, and that I'm using flight following, so they're just keeping an eye on us during the route. So I'm telling them our intentions, where we are hoping to be going. So should anything go wrong, they'll know, you know, the ballpark of where to look. How are we doing for fuel? We're looking good. How about the various engine instruments? They're all in the green, although saying that oil pressure's a bit high. I'm going to come off the throttle a bit. I was pushing us along a little bit, so yeah, it's just dropping back down gently, but we're still in the good area. I had the power down on departure there. You could see we were like edging towards 120 miles an hour, which is about top speed for this thing. Okay. So, oh, this does have an autopilot. I've just noticed it under here. I think I said earlier, it doesn't have an autopilot. Yes, of course it does. Should we play with it then? So, heading bug. What direction are we actually going? Can we press this? Yes, we can. So, according to the compass, we're doing about, was that 108 degrees maybe? Oh, I'm guessing that's heading hold mode. So I'd have to turn this to... Let's turn the head tracking off for a moment. I press shift space and then pull this around to 105, did we say? I'm going to try the autopilot out to see how well it works. I'm sure I've used it in the past. You know, it slipped my mind that it had it. So autopilot on, it lights up. That'll be heading mode, and it's doing it. Very good. So that'll be altitude hold at 2100 feet, which is at the current altitude. So if we wanted to take ourselves up to say 2500 feet, how would we do that? Level change, is that? It looks like it, doesn't it? Or maybe not. That's just wing leveling. So altitude, so how would you control... So if I do that, 2,500 feet, whoops. So that's essentially telling it get me to 2,500, but how's it going to do that? Oh, it's going to use speed mode, isn't it? I've given it extra power, yeah, and it's climbing. So it takes your current airspeed. So it's incumbent upon you to set yourself for it to work. So you would stabilize your speed at say 70% power or 60% power, set a higher altitude and then increase your power for climb. That makes sense. And I'm guessing it will switch to altitude hold when we get to 2,500. Let's see what happens. Or will it carry on through? Will this light back up? Well, it's wound out the... Yeah, Alps is switched on. So we're not targeting an altitude, but altitude hold is on. Okay, that makes sense. And now it's on autopilot, we can look outside and not have to worry so much. Although we do have to worry about that hillside. Okay, so we're going to do a right turn. We want to be flying. We can look here, look, 125 degrees. So we'll just clear this outcrop and we'll turn the heading bug to 125 degrees. Let's see how accurate we are. Pretty good, although it looks like we're going to slam into that hillside. Oh yeah, but that is, look, it's going to clip off the corner of the hillside. If we needed to, what we'd need to do then would be fly 129 degrees, and that would just take us away from the edge. The airplane's complying. Fantastic. So now we get a few moments to sit outside and watch what's going on. See, I've just cut my hair just as short as his recently, so I don't look so different. We have a very rare appearance of me on the channel. How do we do this? I can never remember this. Will the webcam switch on? I don't think I've set the webcam up actually. So, webcam, how does that work? There we go. You see me for the first time in ages and ages on the channel. I'll switch myself off, but you can see, look, I've got the matching haircut now. That's what I wanted to show you. We call it the lockdown haircut in the house. I've got a set of clippers that I bought when the pandemic happened. So I learnt to cut my own hair. Not that it takes much learning to take clippers to yourself. But I keep offering my daughters, whenever they're moaning about their hair, saying, well, I can cut it for you. I only know the one style, but you can choose a number for length. So I always feel a bit awkward about making myself appear in the cockpit, because I think it's a bit vain to do that, to want yourself to be seen on the channel. I'm here to show you the sim and the aeroplane. I'm not here for you to put up with me grinning away in the corner. So we're just coming through the turning point, so we're going to turn at 123 degrees. So we're playing autopilots for a few minutes here, just to see how it works. And that will hopefully keep us away from that outcrop, or just about. That's not, of course, factoring in the wind. The wind is pushing us towards the hill. So
at our 1 o'clock position, just a short distance away, we can see the open-air Weißtannen. This unique outdoor venue is nestled in the beautiful Swiss Alps and is perfect for those who love nature and adventure. It offers a variety of activities, including hiking, climbing, and even some winter sports. The area is known for its breathtaking views and is a favorite among outdoor enthusiasts and families looking for a fun day out. Interestingly, the region has a rich history of alpine exploration, with many trails dating back to the early 1900s, when adventurers first began to chart these stunning landscapes. So as we fly by, just imagine all the laughter and excitement happening below us.
very cool. Yeah, you could imagine for climbing and lots of other outdoor activities. This is going to be amazing around here, isn't it? I mean, it's probably a day climb, isn't it, to get up to the top, even for people that, you know, that want to go. Can you imagine doing that though? That would fold you in half, walking up that hill. So, is that some custom scenery up there? Or is it a photogrammetry aberration? I think it's a photogrammetry aberration. Oh well. So where are we going next? We're going to turn south. We're wanting... See now, we could cut straight across. These hills aren't that high, are they? We could start climbing rather than take this kind of glacially slow route with no danger. So shall we straight line it? So from here, if we draw on the map, we need to go roughly 148 degrees to get to Samadan. And that's LS, ZS or ZS if you're American. So if we go and put in, we'll do a direct to. Select waypoint, LS or Lima Sierra Zulu Sierra, enter. Oh, it can't do it with an airfield, it will only do it with a waypoint. Okay, so we want a waypoint near Samadan. So is there there's no like VORs anywhere nearby? Well, there wouldn't be, as mountains, isn't it? We could put in this one though, Gugsa. Let's do that. So direct to select waypoint G, unless this has to be a waypoint that's already on our route, which doesn't make any sense, but it's saying duplicates found. Oh, it doesn't work with duplicates. That's why. Okay, we'll just wing it. So we're going to turn the autopilot off. We're back into control and give the wings a wiggle. Make everybody throw up. So we want to be flying about 148 degrees across the hills. So let's get the power down and start climbing. We're about 148 degrees right now, so we're going to go out over the top of these hills over here. Rather than going this very pedestrian, boring route, we're going to go and dice with death. Let's go through this pass, and then it gives us lots of time. Into the hills we go. It's much more fun, isn't it? Oh, if I sit up straight, I can bang my head on the frame of the aeroplane. Should we put the sunshade on? There we go. It's a shame it doesn't make a scratchy noise as you slide it forwards. So we need to turn right to 150 degrees, remember, when we get past this outcrop. Coming up to 4,000 feet. So we can just clip this tree as we come by. Meow. Okay, 150 degrees. That's about it. Oh no, that's not, that's 180. We want 150. So we're heading for this ridge ahead of us. So we fly along here. Let's have a look at this on the map. So yeah, we're coming along here. We've just skimmed into the hills, and we've got this ridge ahead of us to clear. Once we get over that, there'll be a massive valley and then some more high hills. And repeating that over and over again until we get to Samadan. We're going to pretty much straight line it, hopefully. So I'm just holding it in a gentle climb. I was pushing the engine on a little bit there. I don't want to thrash it too much. I've broken the engine in one of these before. As you'll notice, if you've not seen this earlier on in the flight, there's this card here and you flip it over and yeah, you can see that I've been running the engine high for a little while as we were climbing over, and that's actually damaged it slightly. So you do need to be careful. How do we put this away? There we go. I thought we could click in the middle of it, but apparently not. See, we've got the sunshades up now. Scenery around here is stunning, isn't it? What a difference from the more westerly side of the Alps where there was snow everywhere. There's no snow here. I think we put the weather back on, didn't we? Sure we did. Should we go double check? Yeah, we're on live weather. It's turning into a lovely day. So, are we going to climb high enough by the time we get to this ridge line? It's going to be dicey. We may have to go and start thinking about doing an orbit. But we might be okay. Let's see if I pull this up quickly. Just doing a bit of a zoom climb there, so we can get out this side. Turning might make us stall though. Let's see if we can scrape over this. Oh, this is really dicing with danger, isn't it? I think we'll be okay. We can always depart to the right. Yeah, we're fine. It was closer than it needed to be, but it gave us a bit of interest along the way, didn't it, doing that? So turn back towards 150. So we're going to have to pop it over this ridge. And there's the next one. This is going to be like this all the way, isn't it? So we're back to 150 degrees on the compass. Obviously we're slightly to the west of the track that we wanted to be on because we've been travelling more to the west. So what we'll do is fly along this rock face as we're climbing to the right. I'm going to turn us now, and we'll try and maybe get through that pass just there. I mean, we've got plenty of speed. We could barrel roll this out over the top of here in quite short fashion, really. So there's the huge valley that we mentioned about earlier. So we're going straight across this. There's snow in the distance, look. But not here. Just trimming the elevators out so I can give my hand a rest. Unfortunately, it doesn't have aileron trim. It's pretty much you hold the stick between your legs to hold it fairly straight. You can see, there we go, look. So we're slightly east of the track. So let's get the autopilot on. So we're going about 150 we wanted, didn't we? So, 7 turns deep. Autopilot on for 150 degrees. Altitude hold is already on, but it's diving for the floor, look. And the reason it's doing that, I'm going to have to deactivate the autopilot. And we nearly ripped the airplane to pieces then. We need to go and turn this up to the altitude we want, which is about 8,000 feet maybe. Go for 8.5 just to be on the certain side. So we're going to tell it to climb. So yeah, what we might have to do is go back to altitude hold. So we're at 7,600. I'm going to play the game I was talking about. Going to let the airplane stabilize at 50% power. So it should hold. It's trying to get to 7,600 feet. But then what we're going to do is tell it to go higher. So 8,500. Turn that on and give it more power. And it will turn that into climb rate. Now we might be too close by now to do it. Or for it to sustain it. So we just need to be ready to turn it back off if we need to. Yeah, there's no way. By the time I'd finished meddling around with it. So it kind of activates speed mode, where at the point you arm altitude, once you increase the power, it maintains speed and turns that into climb rate. If we gave it even more, we're at risk of damaging the engine, but you'll see the nose come up, look. If I open the throttle even further, if we were to turn slightly this way, it'll probably be okay. It's just these hills immediately in front of us were too close for comfort. So Dylan's asking, is the TBM 850 available in 2024? No, not yet. There was an interview with Black Square on, was it Just Flight, or one of the flight sim websites has an interview with the developer behind Black Square. There are lots of airplanes coming in the pipeline. He is still working on them. I'm just keeping an eye on this for a moment. We are going to barely skim this hill because it's at 8,500 feet. Look at that. Now we need to go back the other way, otherwise we'll slam into that one. Okay. So 150 degrees, which way is the wind? So we probably want a couple of degrees more than that to combat. There was about a 7 knot crosswind, wasn't there? So let's put this outside so you get a nice view. There's an interview with Black Square on one of the flight sim websites. I'm not sure which one it was. There's lots of work in the pipeline coming. He's targeting summer, I think. But there'll be, once he gets up and running, Sim Update 3 will help him as well, I think. There are still things that were broken in Sim Update 2 that haven't been fixed to do with, that affect his aeroplanes. But the 850, I imagine, will be one of the aircraft that will arrive fairly swiftly once everything's been solved. I think the thing most people don't realise is 2024 is a new simulator. It is not an evolution. It's an entirely new, much of the engine is different. They built a compatibility layer in to allow the older aeroplanes and scenery to still work with it, but it extends it quite significantly. So the better way, and we saw this with the keyboard mappings and things like that, where people tried to turn it back into 2020 and came unstuck pretty swiftly. So as long as you think of it as a brand new simulator, you don't get too angry. It's only people that expected everything to work, including all of the add-ons that hacked the old simulator, that didn't use public APIs to do anything. All of that stuff broke because it's not the same engine anymore. Okay, let's go and take this up another 1,000 feet. So we're going to do it by pulling the power back, letting the speed drop. So once it gets to 80 knots, we'll do that and then open the power up. So it will maintain the speed at which we pressed it, at the time at which we pressed it, and use the power to gain height. It's not doing it very well though, is it? I may have to intervene. We'll see. I have got some more throttle to use. I'm just aware that you can smash the engine in this aeroplane. Let's just have a look at it and see how much I've damaged it already. No, we're still pretty good. You get a really nice simulation of knocking from the engine if you do smash it. So we're straight lining this into Samadan. We'll have a death-defying descent soon to drop into the valley there. That's good, isn't it? So now we know we don't need to descend quite so much. We can come off the power so we don't lunch the engine completely. We are going to have to cross this peak here. It's that one, isn't it? That's the one we can see. So there's this one in the middle, then there's this tall peak. So does this give us in meters? 3,200 meters. So multiply that by 3 for roundabout feet. So you want to be at 10,000 feet really, and we're only going to 9.5. So let's go and take this. I may have to take over by hand in a bit. Well, we could, because we haven't got to 9,500 yet, just wind this on. Let's keep it going up to 10.5. So we'll hold 80 knots using the power we've given it, which has given us a few hundred feet a minute climb rate. I'll give it a little bit more power. It's en route to Samadan. Yeah, so it's swept straight through 9,500 feet. Look, it's targeting 10,500, which is what we've told it to do. Let's go and put the map back on. No, we don't want fake 3D. We just want the map, which is that one. And if we zoom out, there's Samadan. And we've leveled out, so we've probably hit the limit of being able to climb at the power we've given it. So I'm going to take the autopilot off and take over and destroy some of our airspeed. I don't want to get too slow because up in the thin air the airplane will stall at a much higher speed than normal. And it's a bit chilly because the poor old pilot is in shirt sleeves. Oh, they're saying that he's in a greenhouse, so he's probably cooking. So Lee is saying, yep, he's going to be needing oxygen. Oh, it's debatable, isn't it? I think, is it about 11,000, 12,000 feet is when you seriously need it? But it affects different people, different altitudes. It can be anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 feet. A normal person in the street might feel the effects. But when it becomes debilitating, yeah, getting up at these sort of altitudes, you're going to feel it. Hypoxia. So let's have a look. So Samadan is just across the other side of the next big ridge, around the back of here by the look of it. So to the right hand side. So if we go scooting across here, it's just out of view down in the valley, and it's snowy down there by the look of it. Or is that it down there? Is that the one we can see? Let's have a look. Which direction are we going? Yeah, that's the one we can see. There it is. So I'm just pulling the power back. Let the airspeed fall off. Let's try this. So it's safe to do here. What's the stall speed at altitude then? And has this got a buzzer? Probably hasn't actually. No, it doesn't have a stall buzzer. Of course, this aeroplane is spectacularly good at low speed. So there's Samadan down below us. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Samadan?
I'm sorry, but I don't have information on Summerdown. However, if you're interested in something else nearby, just let me know.
Hi Sarah, can you tell us about Samadan Airport? So let's side slip.
Samadan Airport, or LSCS, is the highest airport in Europe, sitting at an elevation of 1,707 meters, 5,600 feet, above sea level. It was opened in 1965 and serves as a gateway to the beautiful Engadin Valley and the famous resort town of St. Moritz. The airport is particularly popular among private pilots and those flying to ski resorts, as it offers stunning views of the surrounding mountains. One interesting fact is that the airport has a unique approach due to the mountainous terrain, which makes landing here a thrilling experience for pilots. So, if you ever get the chance to land here, hold on to your hats.
So you'll notice I'm side slipping spectacularly to bring us down. So what we'll do is fly in towards this hillside and then scoot left and loop around. So it's still too high.
Info, good afternoon, Swiss 236, we just started our descent into Zurich via the Kelly 3 Golf.
I'm going to wait, because he was talking, I didn't want to stand on him on the frequency. I'm going to talk to Zurich Info.
448 Swiss radar identified. Guten Nachmittag.
Zurich Info, Rans, Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, requesting full stop landing at Samadan.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Samadan cleared for full stop landing. Report on final approach.
Reporting on final. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo into Samadan.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo Samadan, continue approach for runway 21. Report on the go.
Correction, doing full stop landing, runway 21, Samadan, Bravo Echo Kilo. I'm trying to get to the other end of the airfield before I touch down, so I don't have such a long taxi. This looks like a really well done airport, doesn't it? So I'll jump out with the drone camera in a moment and we'll have a look around. We park in front of the old hangar over here. Just wondering if there was anything in there. So I'll leave the engine running and let's go and have a look around. So this is Samadan Airport from Orbex. So this is fire rescue, and then we got snow clearance machinery. Let's go and have a look. Rescue helicopters. Like they said, it's used by lots of skiers that come in here. It's interesting, isn't it? So we've got the main building. So obviously designed to look good from a distance, which I have no problem with in the sim, because I'd rather have good frame rates than have 15 restaurant tables with cups, teas and sauces on them. Cups of tea and sauces. So it looks good from kind of distance as you fly past, but from up close it's not quite so good, but that's not a problem. Interesting. So, more rescue helicopters. And what's this building structure on top of the control tower? Or maybe that is the tower. It's obviously for rescue purposes, isn't it? But it's not a staffed tower normally. Which is why we're on Zurich info on the radio. Okay, so we're going to carry on with the rest of our journey. I don't think there's any Easter eggs hiding in the hangars anywhere. No, can't see any. So let's go and have a quick look before we jump back in our aeroplane. We are going to fly the rest of the route to Bolzano. So we're going to cross over. We'll go from Zurich info into some form of North Italian control as we pass over, so that'll be interesting. So wind is coming down the runway from our right as we look here. So we'll turn left for taxi. And hope we can jump. Oh, I'm going to go across the grass. This aeroplane can do it. It's not a problem. Will Flight Sim do its trick? Yeah, it's leaving the trails in the snow, look. How cool is that? Very cool. So we don't need much runway in this thing, do we? Landing lights on, and give it some welly. That's old English technical expression. And say goodbye to Samadan for today. Leap into the air. Zurich information. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo departing Samadan en route to Bolzano.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, roger. En route to Bolzano. Report your position and altitude.
Departing just south of Samadan. Altitude 6,000 feet and climbing.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, roger. Continue climb. Report position and altitude when reaching cruise level.
We'll report when reaching cruise level. Bravo Echo Kilo. So we're going to climb along this valley. And we'll see how we get on. So leaving Samadan behind. The landing lights can come off. That stuttering has returned, look. There's something weird going on with the servers, I think. And we can see a mysterious absence of scenery again. This happened earlier, didn't it? And it suddenly filled in that forest and the stuttering went away. This is all us, you know, circumstantial evidence. There's not all is right in the flight simulator cloud world. Okay, so we're holding about 60 knots up through 7,000 feet. I'm not sure what cruise level we'll need. We can cheat, can't we? We can go wallop and look in here. And I need to look at the sim because this isn't the most stable of environments for us to be hand flying. So we need 13,000 feet, though we're not doing that. We'll be picking our route through the hills again. So to straight line it, Little Navmap is recommending 13,000 feet, but we're not going to be doing that because that would require oxygen bottles because we're in an unpressurized aeroplane. So we're going to follow along this valley and then hopefully be able to turn left in a moment. So we're going along here. And then we'll hopefully go back along here. And we'll just pick our way. I think that's the only way to do it, really. So we're still climbing at about 450 feet, 500 feet a minute. It's a bit kind of precarious, isn't it? Because you can't see a way out of this. But hopefully there will be once we turn the corner. Again, it's the old tactic, stay to one side of the valley. If you suspect you may have to orbit, get ready way in advance. It's a bit snowy, isn't it? Considering what we left behind not too long ago. This stretch of the Alps, we were just saying that it was a lovely day, weren't we? And it's turning into a rather treacherous day. You see there's a lake up here in the distance. Which one was that then? Lake Bianco. I don't think the simulator simulates hypoxia, by the way, so it won't grey us out or anything like that as we get higher, and it won't start making random incorrect decisions to simulate us starting to flap. So yeah, I don't think it simulates hypoxia. You can see there's our vector for climb. Obviously we won't maintain that sort of climb rate, because this aeroplane can't fly at that high an altitude. I wonder if there is any sense to carrying on along to the lake rather than following this route. I think we might, you know. If we carry on in a straight line along here, we'll see where we get to. So we're coming up through 9,000 feet. We might be able to straight line it if we just pick our route carefully. So I think that a lot of these hills are about 11,000, which is up around, it's getting towards our ceiling, I think. We'll see what happens. I haven't checked the ceiling of the aeroplane yet. So when we do straighten it out, if we get to, we probably want to go about that direction, yeah. So 50 miles across the hilltops. Let's start gently turning then. We're almost up to the altitude of the height of most of the hilltops or mountain tops. It's such a whiteout, isn't it? With the snow, it's so difficult to see hazardous terrain. You just see a shadow, a bit of rock flying towards you, or a mast, as we can see here. So there's 10,000 feet just passed through. So if we can get to 11,000 feet as our cruise altitude, that'd be quite handy, wouldn't it? And we want to be travelling about 80 degrees then, or thereabouts. 85 degrees maybe from our current location. So let's go and get that tuned in. Coming up to 10,000, let's go for 11,500. So if we go and put autopilot on for the moment and put it on, it's on heading mode, and press the button on this to make it climb. So that's managing to do 500 feet a minute on the power setting I've put it on. I put it on quite high, so we'll hopefully go between these two peaks. I bet the wind's getting up now, we're getting higher. Oh no, we've got a 6 knot tailwind, that's not too bad. So yeah, let's pull this back round to 80 degrees then. So we're going to fly between these peaks. This is getting quite scary. We're getting into kind of the corner of the envelope of the aeroplane where it's not very happy. So what I might do, seeing as we have a chance across this next valley, is put this on altitude hold at the height we're at. Let the speed fall off to say 80 knots. Then target the altitude and increase the power to go faster than 80 knots, and it will turn that into climb rate. So get ready, there it goes. Yep, see it's sticking at 80. Could probably have done it for 70 knots, you know. So let's go altitude hold again. Let's let the speed drop a bit more. So we're holding altitude, letting the speed fall off. But then we're going to command 11,500 feet. Just waiting for the speed to come off. It's not going to, is it? No. Blooming aeroplane. Okay, let's command 11,500 and then bring the power back in. And it's going up stairs this time. He must be getting chilly in this short sleeve shirt.
At our 1 o'clock position, about 23 kilometers away, we can see the stunning Valferva Valley. This picturesque valley is surrounded by the towering peaks of the Ortler Alps and is a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The area is known for its fantastic skiing in the winter and hiking in the summer, attracting adventurers from all over. Interestingly, the valley is home to the Stelvio National Park, which was established in 1935 and is one of the largest protected areas in Italy. The park is a haven for wildlife, including ibex and golden eagles, so keep your eyes peeled for any furry or feathered friends. And if you're feeling adventurous, you might even want to try some of the local cuisine, like pizza cherry, a delicious buckwheat pasta dish that's a favorite among hikers. So as we fly over this beautiful valley, just imagine all the fun people are having below us.
Wish she's sharp. Okay, contacting pad over info 124.15 Bravo Echo Kilo, transponder 7000. I've just realised we've lost electrics. I don't know if that's a failure from the cold or what. Padova info Rans, Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo with you at 11,000 feet en route to Bolzano.
Rans Golf, Juliet Bravo, Echo, Kilo, Padova Info, Roger, maintain 1,000 feet, en route to Bolzano. Report position and altitude when reaching cruise level.
Now at cruise level, 11,000 feet, Bravo Echo Kilo. Okay, so I don't know why we've lost electrics, and I think we've lost the autopilot as well when that happened. Let's try cycling the avionics suite. Nope, it's failed. So we are hand flying. And we're hoping, because I don't think it's got pitot heat, has it? I'm hoping we're not going to freeze up. Oh, we've told them we would stay at 11,000, and we are not doing so. That's on us. So why do we have an avionics failure? Is it just the cold that's killed it? Turbulence. How are we doing? So we just got to hold this altitude until we get over the top of Bolzano and then drop down in and be thankful that the aeroplane kept going. So how much fuel have we got left? We've got about half left. I wonder if this still works even though the avionics have kicked out. No, we've lost the autopilot. It's dead. So why? Why? Coolant is low. That's fine. That's fine. That's on the high side, but it's good. That's in the middle. Does that mean I'm going to keep an eye on that needle? If we are losing charge completely, we'll lose our lights as well, won't we? I wonder if it'll come back on if we descend. Warm the aeroplane back up. Is there anything in the card about managing failures? Realism is on. Aeroplane is fine. Coolant levels is fine. I don't know. So if we... Whoa! Going to overspeed the airframe if I'm not careful. And we've dropped to 1,000 feet. So let's go and get that back. Just noticed it's saying about... Yeah, you can see we're quite mucky. Look at the rubbish on the leading edge.
At our 1 o'clock position, about 7 kilometers away, we can see the stunning Park Hotel in Valferva. This hotel is not just a place to stay. It's a gateway to the beautiful Stelvio National Park, which is famous for its breathtaking landscapes and outdoor activities. The park was established in 1935 and is home to a variety of wildlife, including ibex and golden eagles. The area is particularly popular among hikers and skiers, attracting adventure seekers from all over the world. Interestingly, the Stelvio Pass nearby is one of the highest paved mountain passes in the Alps, and it has 48 hairpin turns that make it a thrilling drive. So as we fly over this picturesque hotel, just imagine all the outdoor adventures happening below us.
I'd rather not. I'd rather just get to my destination now in one piece. Okay, so it is this that's causing it. So at this altitude, this level of cold, we're not generating enough power. This is similar to an electric car being rubbish in the cold, isn't it? So if we were to descend and get that back into the warm, it would be okay. It's fine, we can just hand fly it for a bit. Thankfully this aeroplane's wonderfully mechanical. So, you know, there are cables from this to the control surfaces. There are no electronics in between. So as long as the engine is okay, we don't really worry about the... I'm not going to worry too much about the electrics. That's 11,000 feet. I wonder then, this looks quite high in front of us, doesn't it? If we drop down into the valley to the right of us, let's do that. Because this is just getting higher and higher, and I'm not sure we would clear that ridge. So we're going to go round. Although that lowest point there looks like it's doable. You can already see land the other side of it. Just here. So the low point. It's obviously there, look. These mountains look quite austere, don't they? Not very welcoming. Oh, we've lost a circuit breaker. Oh, we have indeed. The alternator. So let's try flipping the avionics. We've got the radios back. Haven't got the GPS back. Obviously this has a lower power requirement. So thanks for the shout out there in the live stream chat for the tips about managing extreme situations in this tiny little aeroplane. So we're 11,500 and we're through the worst of it now. It's all downhill, so as we descend out of the cold, hopefully the aeroplane will warm up enough, will generate enough power to get the GPS back on. Who are they? Anyway, ought to look out for the hills. So we're through the worst of it now. Look at that building up there. I bet Amazon don't deliver to that one. So we're out of the worst of it. Be going that away. So if we descend down into the next valley, we should get the systems back. Oh, here we go. It's back on. So yeah. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? We're warming up as we descend. I was saying that, look, we're at, what, 11,000 still. But we're away from that. No, we're at 10,000, aren't we? Of course we are. So that 1,000 feet difference was the difference between charging and not charging. Okay. Yeah, look, you can see where the simulator sometimes isn't fetching the data still, and it goes stuttery a little bit when it doesn't do it. So there's something odd going on today. It's been coming and going doing it. It got really bad earlier, but then corrected itself. You can see over there, look, as well. It's not always fetching it, and it stutters when it doesn't have it. So because this is quite featureless landscape, I am going to accelerate us across here. So Alt R plus plus plus. So I've just sped up time in the simulator, so you don't just watch me toodling along past featureless landscape for too long. We'll try to get to the destination, or in the ballpark of the destination, and then we'll talk to ATC and hopefully bring ourselves in. Back to normal speed.
At our 2 o'clock position, about 3 kilometers away, we can see the beautiful Lago di Cles. This stunning lake is a popular spot for both locals and tourists, known for its crystal clear waters and scenic surroundings. It's a glacial lake that was formed during the last ice age, making it a natural wonder that has been around for thousands of years. The area around the lake is perfect for hiking, cycling, and picnicking, attracting outdoor enthusiasts and families looking to enjoy a day in nature. Interestingly, the lake is also home to various species of fish, making it a favorite spot for anglers. So as we fly over, just imagine all the fun people are having down there, fishing, swimming, or simply soaking in the sun.
There we go, now we know. Let's just get rid of some of this height, shall we? What channel are we on? Padova info. Padova info, Rans, Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, descending towards Bolzano.
Over info, Golf Juliet Mike Romeo Hotel. Request IFR clearance to Innsbruck Airport.
I'm working on that clearance. Stand by.
Clear to Innsbruck Airport as far as maintain current altitude, score 4454 and ident. In addition, I'd like to request please flight level of 13,000 feet. Padover info, Mike Romeo, hotel request 13,000 feet.
Okay, let's have a look at the map briefly. We're nearly there. Bolzano is just coming up. Hi Sarah, what can you tell us about Bolzano?
Bolzano, located in the South Tyrol region of Italy, is known for its stunning blend of Italian and German cultures. It's famous for its beautiful medieval architecture, including the Walther Square and the Bolzano Cathedral, which dates back to the 12th century. The city is also home to the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology, where you can find the famous Otzi the Iceman, a 5,300-year-old mummy discovered in the Alps. Bolzano is surrounded by the breathtaking Dolomites, making it a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts, especially hikers and skiers. Interestingly, the city hosts a Christmas market that attracts visitors from all over Europe, showcasing local crafts and delicious food. So as we fly over, just imagine all the beautiful sights and activities happening down there.
There we go. So when we turn the corner, we should get Bolzano swing into view, and we'll be able to descend down and circle. Have a look. So just coming into the valley, look. So it drops away and it drops away again, and Bolzano's the other side of the second drop. So there's one. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so that's the one we're looking for. That's Bolzano Airfield right there. So someone in the live stream is saying there's a challenging airfield just to the north as well. Which one would that be? Is it quite a long way north? It's not marked on the map. Locker Airfield to its north. So, does Bolzano have a tower? Should we go and find out? Ground control and Unicom? No, it doesn't. So we'll stay on flight following for the moment. Actually, we could cancel flight following. We're in sight of the airfield now. It's a clear day. It's Padover info, wasn't it? Yeah. Padover info. Rans, Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, ending flight following.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, you are not under traffic service. If you wish to terminate, just let us know.
That's interesting. Padova information. Rans Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo terminating service.
Rans Bravo Echo Kilo, roger. Transponder VFR, you can leave the frequency. Have a nice flight.
Leaving the frequency, good day. Bravo Echo Kilo. So we'll go back to traffic advisory frequency, local Unicom. We'll go and orbit the airfield first, and then we'll come in for a landing. So which way is the wind? wind is behind us, so we'll be going in runway 19. So we'll go and have a look at the city first. After being told all about it on the way in, there's a cathedral to look out for. That turbulence is pretty wicked. It's obviously hitting these hills and barreling us around. To be aware of that on the way in. Is that solar panels down here on the right? Looks like it, doesn't it? Airplanes are loading in.
At our 12 o'clock position, just 2 kilometers away, we can see the Bolzano Dolomiti Airport. This airport, which opened in 1935, is nestled in the stunning Dolomites and serves as a gateway to the breathtaking South Tyrol region. It's particularly popular among skiers and hikers, as it provides access to some of the most beautiful mountain landscapes in the world. The airport has a unique charm, with its picturesque surroundings making it a favorite for those looking to escape to the great outdoors. Interestingly, the airport's location at the foot of the mountains means that pilots often have to navigate tricky approaches, adding an extra layer of excitement to flying in and out of here. So, as we fly by, just imagine all the adventurers landing there, ready to hit the slopes or explore the stunning trails.
So I was just looking, I can't see a big cathedral anywhere. Maybe it's not modelled. Unless it's going to be on a hillside or an outcrop. You know, like Prague or somewhere like that, where the castle's on the hill. Traffic. Rans, Golf Juliet Bravo Echo Kilo, turning finals for runway 1, was it 1819? 19 at Bolzano. So we're a bit high, so we're just going to side slip it down onto the approach path. It's a huge runway, we don't need that huge runway. Look at this dropping. It's funny, isn't it? These little aeroplanes, you can get away with all sorts. And there we go. On the glide slope. Pappy's lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh, we're too low now. Must be quite a steep glide slope. That seems quite steep to me. It's a military airfield on this side. Did you notice that on the way past? It's DC-3. Let's break all the rules and turn this straight back round before we go too far. Okay, So I'm presuming... Oh no, it's not integrated into walk-around mode. So we didn't get anything weird happen. Okay, let's press shift 6. So this is Bolzano Airport. Let's go and turn head tracking off while we do this so it's nice and smooth. I'm not sure if we can go inside. We'll have a look. We can. So we have some people waiting and they can see this little twerp has just arrived with his little aeroplane parked directly outside where he shouldn't have. And he looks absolutely furious. We'll go through security. Set everything off. And yet another terminal. Oh, this is arrivals, I guess. So there's the baggage. It's a tiny little airport, isn't it? Everyone looks quite annoyed. Maybe they're all snowed in. Lots of offices up here, look. Interesting. What's he doing? Should we go and see what we can see on this screen? That looks like a digital audio workstation software at the bottom half of the screen. They all look the same. They got Windows 10. Oh, they'll be out of support soon. Anyway, there you go. It's really nicely done, isn't it? So that's Bolzano Airport. And there's the tower. Everybody always loves to see the tower, so let's go and jump in here with the camera. That's pretty good. So we can see a turboprop down there. And a little E... Is that an E-jet? I think it is. And there's more than just the frontage. Look, they've gone all the way around the back. So nice details like the spiral staircase, the car parking, and the bus stop is even there. Look, with the bus next to it. Fantastic. And some adverts of local businesses, I'm guessing. I'm guessing these will be realistic to the real thing. So we've got obviously a hotel there. Sky Alps. Interesting. And some of the local buildings are obviously modelled. The car parks with trees in them. It's really good, isn't it? So you can obviously get this from Orbex. I've put a link in the notes of the video along with the other airfields we visited today. I've also put a link to SayIntentions where you can grab that from, and I guess the star today was the Rans 6S. Great little aeroplane for going off exploring the world, great visibility. The systems work really nicely in it. The engine management's great, and you could see even with the cold affecting the electrics. So when we got into the high end of the Alps, we lost the GPS for a little while because it ran out of juice basically. So there you go. So hope you've enjoyed that today. A little fly around the Alps. Started out in Reichenbach in Switzerland and flew down through several airports and ended up here at Bolzano in the north end of Italy. I'll see you all again soon. Take care.